Let's see if I programmed it. And there we go. Just like magic, the garage is opening.
Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about HomeLink sun visors for Volkswagen vehicles. So as many of you know, I actually own a MK6 Jetta, and I previously owned a 99 B5 Passat. Now with my Passat, I did a mod where I got a HomeLink visor off a 2002-2003 model V6 Passat 4Motion GLX model, which was a top of the line model basically. So I'd go to a junkyard or I'd look on eBay and I'd purchase a HomeLink visor off that car, and it was pretty much plug and play into my 99 B5 car, except for the wiring part. The wiring had to be redone basically. There was 3 wires on the HomeLink visor. My stock visor in my original car, it only had 2 wires. So you say, 3 wires and 2 wires, how's that possible? It won't be plug and play. You have to modify something. So I found out how to rewire it basically on the forums on Volkswagen Vortex, and with a couple of skills like electrical taping and some soldering skills, I managed to be able to pull off the entire mod and get it up and running and installed in the car. Once I did everything, installed right in the car, it worked perfectly fine. I eventually then programmed it with my home garage, and everything was good. And then one day, I decided to buy a new car, the MK6 Jetta. So, the HomeLink visor from that car, I thought initially that it would not work. So, I just took it off the car when I sold the car, and I kept the visor in my house as a spare visor. In case one day I need it for another Mark IV car if I buy it down the road, I'll use it then, basically. So, right when I got my MK6 Jetta, I just did research on the forums, mainly VolkswagenVortex.com, and as well as YouTube, to find out exactly which sun visor would work with this car. Some initial searches came back saying I could use my original Mark IV sun visor on my MK6 car. But I thought that was kind of sketchy because the actual connectors on the 2 visors, they seem to be different. Like, I didn't actually look at my Mark IV visor, but just from memory, I was pretty skeptical. I was like, from memory, I remember it being a little bit too big, the connector. I don't think it's going to fit in my small little connector hole on my car, my MK6 car. So I immediately dismissed that option. Then I was told that you could actually order a part online or through your local Volkswagen dealership for a MK6 HomeLink visor. Okay, that's fine. I looked around. It was over $100 US plus shipping. And in Canada, I went to the Canadian dealership here, and they said that they wanted around $250 Canadian plus 30% sales tax, which I found to be, pretty steep and pretty outrageous. So obviously I didn't buy that. I didn't go that route. So I did some more research, and they said that you could actually use a Mark V sun visor for MK6 cars. So that got me intrigued and interested. So I immediately went on eBay and bought a set of left and right sun visors in gray color from a Volkswagen CC car. The CC car is basically the Passat Coupe, basically. Yep. So I got them, and when they came in the mail, let's say 2 weeks later from the US here to Canada, I looked at the connector on the Mark V sun visor, and it was huge. It was like almost double the size as the MK6 connector. So I was like, wow, how is this gonna mount up in my ceiling in my car? It's impossible. It's too big. The hole is small, and the mount is huge on this sun visor. So whoever gave me this information that the Mark V sun visor is gonna fit in the MK6 cars is obviously just lying and talking, shit to their teeth, basically. I basically just bought those sun visors for nothing. That's what I thought. Anyways, so some time went by, maybe about a week or two. I was trying to think about ideas of how can I use the sun visor in my car. Basically, I have to modify it. So one theory was just to cut the mount a little bit, so it'll go in the hole, a little bit better, and maybe hold up better. But then another problem was that the actual Mark V mount used mounting screws, and my Mark 6 Sun Visor used a clip. So that's another hurdle I had to get through. How do you go from a screw to a clip? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna glue the clip on the screw hole part? I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? It's pretty amateurish. So I figured that's a bad idea. So what I actually did was, I cut off the whole mount off the Mark V Sun Visor. I cut off the whole mount off a spare Mark 6 basic regular Sun Visor. I took the Mark 6 mount and I put it on the Mark V visor. Right? That was fine. But the problem was that, guess what? Once you cut it off one visor, you can't reattach it back onto another visor. It's basically all loose. You have to somehow retighten it. So I got a little creative, and I used some plastic bonder glue from a local hardware store here. I got it from Canadian Tire. It's a local big retail store here in Canada. So I basically put it on. I put some plastic bonder glue on top of the mount, so it won't fall down. Be nice and tight on there. And it's been installed in the car now, I'd say about 2 weeks, and it's holding up just fine. Not as good as OEM would hold up, but you know, a little bit worse obviously. But because I'm very fragile with my visors, I don't bang them and swim around too hard. I think it'll hold up and last for quite a while. And if anything goes wrong, I'll look into a more better solution further down the road. Alright guys, so on to the video here. I'm now going to show you the differences between the visors. Alright guys, so here's the original visor. This came out from actually my car. You can see the connector right here. The mount for it. It's pretty small. And it has a clip in the hole right here. There's a clip that goes through here, and a cap that goes on top of here to cover the clip, obviously. So there's no screw, it's just a clip mounted sun visor. See, this is still mint. This is my original for my car, so obviously still mint. Alright, so there's that. Next we have the Mark IV HomeLink visor I got from my Passat. See the connector, the mount? It's a lot more bigger than the Mark 6 mount, so for sure this is not going to work. It also has a screw hole for a screw. There's no clip for this. The good thing about this is that it has the wiring already pre-done already, and the connector and everything are done by me. It's soldered together and taped together. And there's the actual HomeLink part. It's still in very good shape, very good condition. Looks almost brand new. Alright, so that's not going to work for us with the Mark 6 car. Next, we went ahead and bought a Mark V style HomeLink visor. Now the one I have here obviously is the passenger side one, because the driver's side one I have already in the car. They're installed in the car, so this is the passenger side one. But I'm just bringing this out here today to show you the connector on it, the mounting point. See the mounting point? It's huge as well. And it has a screw hole. There's no clip. And it comes obviously with wires. So how is this going to fit in a hole designed for this small connector? See that, guys? It's not going to work out so well for you if you try doing that. Obviously you have to modify something in order for it to work. There's no way it's plug and play. But I was told on Volkswagen Vortex that, oh yeah, it's plug and play, just buy it and install it the same day, no problems. But obviously I'm talking, nonsense, because I've already been through this now, and it doesn't work. I tell you that, it doesn't work at all. I would have a lot of modification, either to your sealing of your car and headliner, or to the actual mount on the sun visor itself. I chose to leave my sealing and my headliner intact and stock the way it was. I didn't want to alter that. So the next step was just to alter the connector on the sun visor. That's exactly what I did. So in the next part of this video, I'll show you the cut off Mark V connector. The one that I cut off the driver's side Mark V visor in order to put on the Mark 6 mount on it. So without further ado, On with the video. So guys, here's the Mark 5 cut-off connector mount. There you go. I had to cut it off completely on one side in order to get off the visor, but the visor stem was completely intact and fine. Sure, there must have been some, some cut marks here and there, but overall, it was still intact and still usable. I used a Dremel tool with a cutting blade, smaller cutting blade, to cut this off. And some safety glasses. Don't forget your safety glasses, guys. Alright, so that's the connector. And I'll show you the wire that was on there and how to wire this up. How to wire this up was very easy. It was the same way you'd normally wire up a Mark IV style HomeLink visor. There's 3 wires on the HomeLink visor and 2 wires in the headliner of the car. So you'd wire them up the same way. On this Mark V visor, there was a black one, a green one, and a red wire. Okay? So what did I do? I took the green wire and red wire, I put them together, and soldered them to the power wire on the car. And then this black wire is the ground, and it went to the ground wire of the car. So obviously I took it down to my soldering desk, my basement here in my house. I soldered them together, I taped them up very nicely, and I soldered on the car. So my car didn't come with any wires in the headliner for the sun visor, because my car was a Jetta S and didn't have any lights, any basically vanity lights in that area. So what I did was I had to run a new wire. I had to run actually 2 wires, a power wire and a ground wire, all the way from my fuse box up my A-pillar, across my headliner to my visor area. Now that took maybe 5 minutes. It was very fast and easy to do. If you know how to do it, it's very easy. I've done it before many times, so obviously I knew by now how to do it because I won the car out for like 4 or 5 years. So obviously by now, after so many years, I know how to do it. It's very easy. I'll go to the car now, guys, and show you how I did it. And now we're in the car. Alright. Let's open the door and look at how I wired this HomeLink visor in my Jetta S car, Mark 6. Alright, let's get the key out. Get rid of that sound. There we go, put it back inside there. Okay. You see down here, I have all the covers and panels off for you guys, just to show you what I did. So I ran 2 wires in here and up through this A-pillar towards the headliner. So one wire was a ground. I think the ground wire, as you can see, I put on the screw here. It's a ground wire. I just tap connected this 2 wires together. The ground wire going to the HomeLink visor, and this is the one going to the car with the screw right here. Okay, and I used one of those circular mounting connector on this wire to mount it to this screw hole. So as you can see, here's the A-pillar. Up here is where I would pop it down. See if we can do it. Yeah, see, it pops down and it opens up, giving you access to the inside of it. As you can see, there's actually an airbag in there, and there's a whole bunch of wires that I've previously wired, as well as 2 wires that are new wires, 1 power, 1 ground for this HomeLink visor. Okay, and then it's on the back side here. Here's the HomeLink visor. Okay, open it up. Here's my Mark 6 mounting plug. See it? On the Mark 5 stem here, glued together. Now you can't see the glue because the glue is above this headliner, so you can't see how I glued it, but so I glue the stem. You don't glue the stem onto the mounting connector. You just put the stem through the connector, and while it's above the connector, you put glue on top of it, horizontally, this way.
so the stem won't fall down out of the connector. The glue will be holding the stem up above the connector, basically. That's the shortest way to tell you guys how to do it. So that's how I did it. So the wires now obviously are running through here, somehow gets down here, and they're come out, I think, through here, and they go inside the headliner, run across here. You can see them, kind of see them there in the corner right here. Okay, right there in the corner. So they go in there, then they go in the A-pillar. They go in the A-pillar, right down. As you can see, they're here now. I ran them down. Okay, and they come out here. One wire went to the ground, the other wire went to the fuse box. I used this one over here, this fuse over here. It was a permanently live fuse. It wasn't with the key on, it was permanently live. I decided to do a permanently live fuse because I know that it's dangerous, because someone can just break into your car and open your garage up without the key or anything else. So it's kind of dangerous, but I just like the convenience of it, not having to turn the key on every time in order to open my garage. So that's why I did it that way. So it's right here. It's the first row of fuses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about number 6 fuse. So now, how did I find this fuse? Well, I used one of those test light testers. I probed on it, on the on the fuse that was originally there, and it showed constant power, not switched on power. So that's how I knew that this fuse position would be right for me. So that's why I just tapped in there now, and we're good to go. Alright guys, so here's the actual connector piece, alright? See the hole. So what I did was I basically got the Mark 6 connector piece and the Mark 5 HomeLink Sun Visor. And I simply just stuck the Sun Visor stem out the end of the Mark 6 connector piece, right? So I had to somehow glue either a piece of plastic or piece of wood or piece of metal on top of this Mark 6 connector piece. So once you glue something on top of the stem, the glue cannot be glued to the actual connector piece, because if it glues on the connector piece, then you won't be able to turn around your sun visor anymore. It'll just be one piece and it'll be permanently glued in place, and you won't be able to turn around anymore. Let's say you want to turn around to the left hand side of the cabin. You won't be able to if you glue the stem piece onto the connector piece. The connector piece and the stem piece have to be two different independent pieces, and you just glue anything you want to imagine, like a piece of wood or a piece of plastic or a piece of metal on the stem itself, and not onto the connectors. If you glue it onto the connector as well, you won't be able to turn the sun visor at all. So what I did was I actually put tape, regular Scotch tape, on the connector piece, directly on it. So if any glue got on the connector piece, it would get only on the tape, and if you turn the sun visor around, the tape will somehow, obviously tape off the connector piece and allow you to freely move the sun visor around. That's exactly what I did. So if you follow my my theory and my steps, you'll be able to succeed in this mod as well. And look, you can fold it down, you can take it off the clip point there, and it'll slide down a little bit like that. You can extend it out to buckle the sun on the side of the car. Wonderful, guys. And it's holding up, it's not falling out. Awesome. Put it back in for you. And that's how it sits. It sits a little bit tilted downward this way. So here it has a small little gap, and here it's nice and tight. So it's not an exact fit, but it's pretty close. I'm sure if I, you know, played around a little bit with the stem and the, you know, the glue point on top of the mounting connector piece, somehow make it, you know, put the stem higher in the piece, or a little bit lower how it sits now, I'm sure you can get it more flush in here. And now it's just a little bit of a gap. See there, the gap, it's like a downward slope. Tiny bit, but you know, when you're driving the car and this is, you know, put away, you don't really notice too much. It doesn't really bother you. You just look at the road ahead of you, you're not looking there. And here's the moment of truth in this video, guys. You can see here the number one spot. Let's see if it works. And it opens up my garage. Let's see if I programmed it. And there we go. Just like magic, the garage is opening. Wonderful, guys. Wonderful. Go ahead and stop it. Go ahead and close it back up again. Awesome. So I did a very good job wiring up the HomeLink portion of the Sun Visor. I just need a little bit tweaking to do with the actual mounting clip point to make it more straight instead of a little bit slanted off to one side. Good.
So guys, now you guys see how to actually put a Mark 5 HomeLink Sun Visor in a Mark 6 Jetta car. It's not as easy as you think it is. It takes a lot of work and a lot of patience and a lot of wiring and a lot of figuring out what exactly to do and how to execute it. Alright guys, that was another video. This is the end of it now. This is Mr. Greek 2002 signing out. Take care, have a good day. Please like and subscribe for more mod content. Bye guys.